For my project, I decided to focus on one individual. An individual who's trying to find a job. Her name, Anita Job. And what I thought about doing was introducing Anita to some various Web 2.0 tools that are available to her. I wanted to introduce her to these to help her increase her exposure. If you look at the screen, you'll see a photo of Anita, just a random JPEG that I downloaded from the internet, as well as a resume that I created that I modeled something off of Curious George by working in a library and a fire department at Riverbank Zoo. I also had her graduate college. And then what I did is I took her through the various steps of creating a profile on LinkedIn, Weebly, and Review. And through some of my research, these programs were the best at increasing your online presence and online portfolio. Now, my original idea was to create a Prezi presentation where I would highlight the different features that each of the programs offered. The problem that I encountered, there wasn't enough visual appeal in that approach, so I considered doing brief tutorials on each of the programs to further explain how they worked. One of the features I mentioned that was most beneficial to LinkedIn was the network. And what I realized is that I had a really hard time getting a network for an imaginary person. So what I ended up doing was I created her a profile, and then I asked people in my own family, in my own network, to connect with Anita so that during my presentation I could show how Anita's profile would grow, increasing her exposure in the job market. So when I asked my friends and family to add Anita to their network, I told them they could be a little creative in what skills they endorsed for her. And it turned out to be a little funny in that Anita is now endorsed in bookkeeping, beekeeping, and square dancing, as well as customer service and CPR, which was what I originally had on there. So everybody kind of helped build her network. So after creating the LinkedIn profile, I took Anita through the other steps on how to create a profile in Review and then in Weebly. And I liked these programs because you can import data from LinkedIn into Review, and you can link all of them back and forth to each other. And on the screen now is I have Anita's profile, and it has her personal website. If we were to click on personal website, but Review had a certain visual appeal, which I think goes a long way in talking about the whole person, which is what some companies are looking for now, is not just somebody who sits in a cubicle, but somebody who's going to be active and part of their community at the workplace. So I was able to create a well-rounded individual in Anita by using her Review site. And if you look, there's a link here linking us back to LinkedIn, and there's also a link taking us to the final website I discussed, Weebly. So if we click on the Weebly link, we go to Anita's career portfolio. And again, I had trouble here in that I didn't have any work samples or volunteer work. So I just kind of went on the internet and Creative Commons and just found some pictures just to demonstrate how I could do this. And so what I did is I created some various tabs for Anita, and then just imported some pictures of her volunteer work and her internship. So now Anita has a very well-rounded online presence now that she's created profiles on LinkedIn, Review, and Portfolio.